Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the July 18th Minus the Rumors podcast. I'm Zero the Unwise, going by Ed here on this screen, joined with Crimson Rose from Crimson Rose Gaming and Linz and Dano from Not Quite Nerds. One of our stories tonight involves eSports, which is getting bigger by the day. eSports is big enough that Coca-Cola and Monster and Red Bull and large sponsors that you would normally see at legitimate sporting events are starting to sponsor these esports events tournaments themselves. Nissan is another one to join in. Logitech as well. How big is esports? Well, 205 million people watched or played sports in 2014. Think of Call of Duty or Counter-Strike tournaments, as well as Smite, Hearthstone, League of Legends. Huge games that draw hundreds of thousands of people to midweek tournaments on Twitch TV. In 2014, 3.7 billion hours was spent watching esports. Frequent users that watch total somewhere just under 90 million people. It's growing compared to 2012, let's say, where 58 million people frequently watched esports tournaments and 1.3 billion hours was spent watching. The payouts are getting large as well. In 2014, the DOTA 2 tournament, which is Dust of the Ages, it's a very popular MMO. The championship team won $5 million. Compare that to the 2014 NBA Finals championship team, which brought home $4.1 million. Or the Stanley Cup champions in 2014. I can't even remember who won, but they brought home $3.8 million. Smite, which is a brand new game launching this year, the world champion team gets $1.3 million. That's a huge payout.
Yeah, that is.
That is. Overall, gaming has more YouTube followers than news, movies, and education combined on YouTube alone. 79 million people watch, compared to 78 million people that watch sports videos on YouTube. News, 35 million viewers. It's getting big enough that ESPN2 has started covering electronic sports, which gives me a reason to watch ESPN more.
Yeah, they're beat on YouTube only by music.
Yeah, which is, that's a huge accomplishment in of itself.
Right, and 38% of this demographic is female as well, so it's not just the boys that are watching.
And only 28% of the demographic total is over 35 years old.
Right, so it's prime advertising. It's a prime advertising market. That's exactly where you see Monster and Red Bull and Nissan and everyone getting into. These are the buyers.
Yeah, they want their young male audience.
Yeah, 38% is female now.
Well, yes, but you know, the typical advertisers market is young male.
56% of this market are between the ages of 21 and 35.
Mm-hmm.
It's an advertiser's dream.
It's a good buy for Twitch, who was bought by Amazon in 2014 for $970 million. That's almost $1 billion. When you realize that Twitch TV has 100 million unique visitors a month, 55 million active users a month, and has 16 billion gaming minutes watched per month.
God.
Well, one of the reasons why the payout is so high and there's so much money in this industry is that there's no cost with YouTube, where with the sports, the actual sports, you've got TV contracts, you've got all these contracts, and you got to pay people all these kinds of things, and there's a huge cost to run the sport itself. When it comes to esports, the cost to run the sport is very low, so that means profit is very, very high in comparison.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Other than the cost of renting the initial venue and the grips and things like that to set up the cabling and stuff like that for the tournament, set up and tear down, there's really no overhead other than some concessions.
And
right.
You make a good point, Crimson. I also think that extends just to accessibility. If anybody wanting to play, pick your poison, any type of sports ball, there's a finite amount of positions out there, and there's a lot of luck that goes with actually getting onto some sort of national team. Whereas, if you're good enough and if you put in the time, it's a whole lot more realistic that you could make it into some sort of eSports domain.
Absolutely. It is getting big. Very big. So big, in fact, that in New York City, eSports gaming is coming to their big screen theaters. A company called Super League Gaming is bringing Minecraft tournaments for right now, but they do plan to expand to other games to the big screen at local theaters.
Yeah, I read about this.
Right, to literally expand the audience for... These might be smaller tournaments because they can be housed in a theater. They're not selling out the Staples Center, which other tournaments are selling out the Staples Center. But it's a movement that they are starting across the nation to bring these small tournaments to big movie screens. Right now it's Minecraft, but look for it to be, I would assume, League of Legends or Dota next.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, in the place that I read about this, they're talking about wanting to open this up, like you were, nationwide in over 100 theaters, and that's first run. That's starting out.
I would go to see Counter-Strike tournaments. Honestly, I love that game, even though I'm terrible at it. I would definitely go to see Counter-Strike being played on the big screen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would even go to see Minecraft being played on the big screen.
Yes. That would be me there, like, geeking out.
Yeah.
Esports is huge. Streaming overall is huge. And streaming is going to a smaller screen.
Yes, absolutely. What's Mobcrush? Mobcrush is the new live streaming service for apps. So we've had the consoles and the PC have Twitch. There are all kinds of live streaming stuff, and now Mobcrush will be the mobile gaming. Will now have a large spectator audience, just like desktop gaming. What happened is Mobcrush just got out a private beta from their iOS and OS X. Windows app will drop in the next few weeks, as well as the Android app will at the end of the summer. You can stream and watch mobile gameplay, as well as they've raised $4.9 million in funds to get this thing going. And there has been, since the during the private beta, there's over June, there was 2 million minutes of watch content in June, so that's ridiculous.
And you see, that's something I would have never thought about. I've never been big into mobile gaming, and honestly, it's surprising that that's taken off like it has. And I mean, I've paid attention to the stories that have been out there with how advanced mobile gaming has become, and I just may have to start trying it out.
Yeah, that is the point that they make to the skeptics, was that PC and mobile games are so advanced at this point. It's not just Angry Birds anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot of YouTube content streamed from mobile games lately, or played on mobile lately, and just looking up how much cabling and things like that I've got to buy for my personal capture card. I think Mobcrush is the way to go.
Right.
This is definitely going to be the next big phenomena, and it's interesting to see where it'll go.
Absolutely, especially when you have big YouTube names developing their own games at this point. Toby Turner, has his own mobile game out. Captain Sparkles has developed his own mobile game. So those are things that have a built-in tie to the YouTube and streaming community. People are going to want to stream them as soon as they have them on their phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of big things in gaming, The Witcher 3, which is already a huge game. What was it? The speedrun record is 127 hours, I think,
Yeah,
for the average speed run of the game.
It's massive.
A week to play a game, speed running it. The details have been released on the upcoming patch for The Witcher 3. Lots of bug fixes, lots of major improvement. The list is extremely long, but it covers things like horse pathing and the horse speed. Apparently that is an issue in the game. The horse just doesn't like to go where you direct it to.
I've had some experience with that, yes.
Mm-hmm. Other issues where players are sometimes unable to interact with a torch in the Get Junior quest. That's been fixed. Improves overall game performance. You're talking large frame rate increases as well as refresh. So you're not going to get lag spikes when you're loading in a new area and things like that. A rare issue has been fixed where players could not talk to or play Gwent with the innkeeper at the inn at the crossroads. These are just a few of many of the list that I'm reading through. There's, I think, 115 total patches.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Even when the game is done, it's never done.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, this is adding another 30 hours roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And
a whole lot less rage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I see on the list of fixes there was an actual progression break that could occur if Geralt was knocked out by guards following the Bloody Baron
Mm-hmm.
in the Family Matters quest. How frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's fixed. Don't worry. You can play it now.
Right. Speaking of things getting improvements and expansions, I hear Path of Exile's got some new stuff coming out, Dan.
Yes, it does. Path of Exile is releasing a new expansion pack that is promising an entirely rebuilt, well, let me not say entirely, a much needed, in my opinion, rebuild. And it's really kind of buffing and polishing this game that was an extremely ingenious idea in the first place. If you don't know what Path of Exile is, it is a free-to-play RPG that plays like nothing else I've ever sat behind a keyboard and played. Lindsay and I both enjoy playing it.
I love it.
Yeah, when we can find a moment of spare time to do it. But yeah, they're adding new content, and for those of you that do play it, there's an entire new act that's going to be set in Highgate. They have a new jewel system, new divination cards, a lot of extra gems and things coming out, and I think one of the biggest patch notes is going to be balancing to the world. They're making a ton of balancing changes in the way it plays.
Yeah, the skill tree is changing,
Yeah,
which is a big thing.
Yeah, there's not a ton of information on it yet, but I think it's probably... I think if anything is going to make this game explode, it's going to be this patch, honestly. This is already going to be an amazing improvement on an ingenious game in the first place. But yeah, speaking of developments in games, I think we've had a not too joyful one here happen just on the 11th.
Yes. Most people know by now that the Nintendo president has passed away. Mr. Satoru Iwata unfortunately died at the age of 55. He passed due to a bile duct growth that he's been fighting for a few years now. Many people do remember him as the last president of Nintendo, but really he was so much more. He is known mostly as the strict fourth president of Nintendo, but making the company very transparent. He was the first president to actually be a game developer. There's actually one of the predecessors never picked up a video game ever. So he literally started from the bottom of the company and worked all the way up. Some of his many achievements includes being the president of the Hall Laboratory. He brought them completely out of bankruptcy. Hall Laboratories is known as the most prolific second-part developer of Nintendo today. It's a huge accomplishment. He is the reason we have Kirby. He's not the guy who thought up a Kirby, but the guy who made the game possible. Yeah. During the 2001 fiscal year, he brought the company, that was his first year working for Nintendo, 41% profit increase for the company. The very next year, he was made president.
Yeah, and I mean, just...
he's actually their first president that's not of blood. During the presidency, he went after all the third parties, which no one had done before, and that was during the GameCube. Made GameCube huge. Now, what also he did was DS and the Wii were his babies. Made the company serious money, and made basically Nintendo the king of all handheld gaming forever. Yeah. But during the hard times, he took for the 3DS. 3DS came out terrible. It didn't go over well. He took a 50% pay cut in his own pay, so not to lay off any employees, because he took all full responsibility for that. He personally had his hands in over 220 titles. Basically, he made Pokemon, Zelda, Kirby, Smash, all those huge titles and little titles what they are today. There's even a story of him when... what are they called? Game Freak, when they had just started up, they couldn't put, for the second generation for Pokemon, they couldn't put Johto and Kanto in the same game. He went, personally, took all their files, compressed them for them, so they could make that game. Wow. He's mostly remembered as being the extreme, fun-loving person. He was an extreme people person. Many people relate the feeling of losing him is the feeling of losing Robin Williams, as many people really connected to him during his kind of podcast he did, the Nintendo Direct. He is the man that made gaming what it is today. He didn't start Nintendo, but he made gaming what it is today for all platforms. And one of his last things he said, this is how amazing and how much he cared for Nintendo and gaming. One of the last things he ever said to the audience, to the consumer, was he apologized for the E3 digital event, saying it didn't meet expectations and they would continue to meet expectations in the future. By this time, he had to have known he was on his deathbed. So until the bitter end, he was the man pushing Nintendo into the 21st century and making them what they are today. An absolutely amazing company, and just revolutionized gaming.
It's truly sad that he's gone, and there is a large hole left in Nintendo and in so many people's hearts.
Actually, currently they have not found a new president. Currently, they've got two people filling in at the moment, but as of yet, they have yet to fill his position.
Yeah.
Will probably be a tough decision considering his success in the role.
And then the Japanese culture is a bit different than our culture here in the West, or the East, technically. Where over there, it's the bloodlines is very strong. That's why he was the first one that wasn't of blood, and things like that play a huge role with how they pick the next person to take the spot.
Yeah.
Right.
But that will conclude our gaming piece. So, the next is we have a little sports corner, since I'm the only one who likes sports. Or is addicted.
Crimson
Put
is
it
the
that
only
way.
active member of Minus the Rumors.
So, Venus Williams, for those who don't know, she is a tennis player. She's really the queen of her sport. Just recently, she won Wimbledon, and that means she just won 4 Opens in a row, which is called the Serena Grand Slam. But she is on the verge of getting one of the highest honors of all sports, one of the hardest things to ever do. It's called, in tennis, a true Grand Slam. You have to win the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open in the same calendar year. Only 3 people in history have ever done that. Maureen Connolly, 1953, Margaret Court, 1970, and Steffi Graf, 1988. This is the most prestigious honor to be able to do this. It's really surpasses most sports goals, but all she has to do is win the U.S. Open later this year. She's got it. She's won the true Grand Slam, and that would actually be 5 Opens in a row that she would have won. So good luck to her.
That hasn't been done in 27 years.
That would be correct.
Holy cow!
Yep, she is.
This is a comeback for her. Last year, she did not have a good time.
Yes.
So this is a comeback year for her. She's also the oldest Wimbledon singles champion of the Open era.
Interesting.
The All England Club is where she had a bit of an incident. She was sick.
Yeah.
She was going through some things. It wasn't a good performance, but obviously she's shown that she can come back strong.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Bolt. Shall we?
We
I guess
shall.
we shall.
Do you know what the Bolt is? Have you heard of the Bolt? I know Dano rides motorcycles. Krim, do you ride?
Not lately.
Not lately. You know, I have ridden, but I think I might have to put money down on one of these when I have money available. For $5,000, you can get yourself a Bolt M1, which is, it's an amazing new piece of technology. People have been calling it the Tesla of motorcycles. The Bolt is an electric motorcycle that has two modes. You've got performance mode and economy mode. Economy mode gets you up to around 20 miles an hour, and performance mode gets you up to around 40 miles an hour. Now, these things are completely electric, but they do have pedals. Think of the older pedal mopeds, which that's a good feature to have if the battery does die. But in performance mode, you can get around 35 miles. Sport mode, performance mode, and in economy mode, you can get around 50 miles of range. The batteries are large, but split into 2 pieces, the entire battery pack, so you can bring it inside to charge if you live in an apartment, let's say. You can carry it up a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
Or you just run an extension cord out to it in your garage if you're lucky enough to have one. Technically, it's categorized as a bicycle, and you can ride it in the bike lane or lock it up in a bike rack. So it isn't a full-size motorcycle. But it takes about 90 minutes to charge, comes with a USB port to charge your smartphone while you're driving it. And, it just looks like a piece of awesome technology.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's
the batteries also get a charge while you pedal, so you can pick up some juice. If you do have to pedal, you'll pick up some juice from the pedaling itself.
Right.
The bike is actually keyless. You start it with a passcode from your smartphone.
Yes.
Now that's cool.
Yes. It's a smart key technology, I guess, with a passcode from your cell phone.
Yeah, and parental controls.
Yeah, it really is. It's revolutionizing
Yes.
mopeds. Because you think back to the old pedal mopeds. I, along with probably a lot of other people, wouldn't want to be caught dead on one.
Right.
But this is bringing awesome new tech and combining it with something that they actually pulled off and made quite stylish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd even be interested in getting one.
New life brought to the moped. What about never-ending life?
Yes, that is an interesting topic. That's kind of predicting pseudo-immortality by 2035. This is all coming from a guy that's been featured in Time magazine extremely recently, I think just a week or two ago, actually. Dmitry Itskov. He is predicting a 4-stage leap in the technology that we have and how we can prolong and maybe just future-proof our lives. Starting with stuff like, if you've ever seen the movie, what is that movie? Somebody help me. It's the one with Bruce Willis, where they had surrogates. Oh, it's Surrogates. That's the name of the movie. Yeah, there it is. He's talking about a first stage of something like that where we have a robotic human copy, and it's basically just control-based, wireless control. Moving into stuff like having an avatar that actually has your living brain in it. He's predicting that we could reach that kind of technology sometime between 2020 and 2025. And then he moves into a couple of other areas, fully synthesized brain that your brain gets uploaded into. You're basically in a computer, and he has ideas in the far future of combining all of that with holograms, which holograms is kind of a back burner. That's still a very shaky technology, but the steps A, B, and C are all actually currently being worked on. They are in testing and production. And I read about this a few times now, and I thought it was just very interesting, kind of his view on it.
There's no step pre-A where we're all just heads in jars like on Futurama, right?
I would love that.
No. It actually progresses from you controlling, your living self controlling an android avatar type thing to the actual download of your memories into some computer type device, which is a brain transplantation. Neurosurgeons would isolate your brain and part of the spinal cord and put it on a life support system that would be inserted into an android. And as support for this, they're actually taking this to some pretty big conventions, and there are some funding holders paying attention. One of the speakers at one of these conventions is Theodore Berger, who has replaced the hippocampus in a rat with a computer chip.
Really?
And
Yes.
it actually worked. If you don't know, the hippocampus it controls memory.
Right.
And this particular rat still retains the ability to have memories with a computer. I mean, for all intents and purposes, a computer-made piece of a brain.
Right.
Interesting. I can't wait to see what the next 30 years have for the advancement of the human race.
But,
Yes.
Whatever it is, I'm sure Microsoft's going to want in on it, as they're
Yes,
trying
by
to.
then it'll by then it'll be compatible with Windows like 25 or whatnot. But in the meantime, we have
Yeah.
Windows 10. So Windows 10 drops July 29th. It officially does come out of beta. Apparently it combines the strengths of 7 and 8. Millions of people are actually already using it. All their beta testers and whatnot. What will happen is the day of it'll be available to all the 5 million beta testers, and then after that they'll stagger it out and slowly roll it out to everyone else. If you really don't know how to upgrade your computer, don't worry. If you go to Microsoft Store, Walmart, Best Buy, and other retailers, they're going to have upgrade stations. So basically, you'll go and they will walk you through how to do it, and then experience stations, which I guess they'll talk to you about Windows 10 as a whole. And then also to add with the Windows 10 is Xbox, which again is another one of Microsoft's things. Is you'll be able to record, compete, and stream from Xbox straight to your Windows 10 device. So there's going to be a huge amount of crossover capability with the Xbox and Windows 10 devices. So it'd be interesting to see where that leads in the future of gaming and then tech in general.
Right.
Yeah, as much as I hated 8, I'm really jealous of all of the beta testers with Windows 10, because Windows 10 was I think it's been done right.
You can still get the Windows 10 technical preview. You still can get that.
Yeah, but that's just a technical preview. I'm jelly of the real thing.
Right.
I want it all.
My biggest question for Windows 10 is what Microsoft is calling their delayed profit on it. We don't have answers yet as to what exactly delayed profit means. There have been, slides pulled from inside of company meetings and slidden under doors and things like that they're not confirming anything. They're saying that, nothing that has been leaked has actually been decided on within the company or anything like that. But it's basically supposed to be, you get Windows 10 for free. You get free upgrades for the life of your device, for the support life of your device, or some terminology like that. And that number has been anything from 2 years to 6 years. So if it's as low as 2 years, for those of us with $2,000 PCs or gamers with $4,000 PCs or whatever the case may be, 2 years is not a lot of support life.
Yeah,
so that's the big concern with Windows 10. In addition to all of the excitement is when comes the surprise? Am I going to be surprised? And if I am, when am I going to be surprised?
Yeah, it's definitely in the realm of possibility. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to roll that out.
But as long as you do jump into that first year of the product being out, you can at least get it for free if you have Windows 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And then find out the surprises later down the road.
Mm-hmm. But for all of these Windows 10 beta testers and I guess everyone else who has a Windows computer, period, you know what you should really do? You should check out player.me, because they're also doing some advancement in their whole theory of how they run.
Social media, it's almost always free. Player.me is working on a new Android app. It is still in alpha right now. I am one of the beta testers for it, and it is a very smooth application. They're doing some really neat things by, kind of like integrating links to Twitch within the app, showing you who's online, who's streaming, and then, you can click on it kind of like you would click on an embedded YouTube video and watch that actual live stream. So it's nowhere near finished. It's still in very, very early alpha release. I don't want to give away any of their secrets or anything like that. But if you're not signed up for Player.me, it is a gaming community where you can actually tag the games that you like, tag the games that you play, find other gamers to play with. Of course, keep up with the YouTube channels of everyone and the streaming channels of everyone. And this Android app is a big step for them. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I was not expecting an early alpha release to operate as smoothly as it does.
Right.
It has yet to crash on me, when does an early release alpha not completely crash? I don't know. I've spent a lot of time on it. I haven't been able to break it yet.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That is amazingly impressive.
So, while you are tagging the games that you like on player.me and deciding whether or not you would, be immortal and ride around as an android hologram on your Bolt 1, make sure that you keep in touch with Minus the Rumors to catch up on all of the latest gaming and tech and pop news. And as you are playing your games and watching us, don't let your eyes get too tired. We've got links down below for no-scope gaming glasses. They help all of us out a lot. I know all four of us use them. So if you need a little direction on how to get those, just check the description below. Very, very useful things. So I have to talk about this. It's very exciting. I hope that you guys got to see it before it was taken down from almost all the sites ever.
I know I did.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw this. And it was
amazing.
excellent.
The unofficial Comic-Con trailer for Deadpool was recorded on somebody's cell phone and released out to the world, and it stayed available for about a day and a half before, they started taking it down from all the sites. But even in, back of the row cell phone footage, shaky cam, this trailer looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
11 years of work from Ryan Reynolds to get this movie made, and it looks like it is going to be completely worth it. We have to wait until February the 12th, 2016 to find out.
Yes.
But I must have played that trailer back about 50 times.
Wow.
I played it until my phone died.
Right.
I guess I'll see it when it officially releases. It'll probably be all edited.
The best part about it is they are really doing the actual Deadpool storyline justice, really going by the comic book.
Yeah.
As well as the thing is going to be so R-rated. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that they actually did it like the comic. Because they very easily could have turned this into some fluffy little PG-13
right.
movie.
This has been the concern for a couple of years now.
Deadpool is not your comic for little kids.
No.
Right. So basically what people are saying is Deadpool won Comic-Con. Now, Comic-Con had 130,000 attendees. They sold out in, I think, under an hour. And Deadpool sweeps in and says, by the way, I am the star of this event.
Yeah. The 130,000 people, and all they're talking about is Deadpool.
Right.
Naturally.
They weren't even talking about Wolverine 3.
No, they weren't, unfortunately, because I'm also extremely excited and extremely saddened by the prospect of Wolverine 3, which at Comic-Con, once again, there were a few little tidbits of maybe some teasers for what's going to be going on in Wolverine 3, and also for the next X-Men Apocalypse to come out. Now, if you didn't happen to see it, it was Hugh Jackman on stage with several others, and he was kind of outlining and trying to answer questions a little candidly, but basically talking about his last Wolverine movie, which is hard for me to say, because I can't see anyone else in Hugh Jackman's spot for this character.
Right.
And unfortunately, it does have to come to an end. But one of the things that he did hint at, which I'm so excited to see what they do with it, is he hinted at another Marvel comic within the Wolverine universe, and said a little bit about Old Man Logan, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a comic that takes place in the future with an older Logan.
Really?
And he wouldn't say too much about it at all. In fact, I think it was just, I've got 3 words. It's, Old Man Logan, when he was talking about Wolverine 3. So it'll be interesting to see where they take that. And also, there's a lot of speculation as to whether a Wolverine of any actor will appear in Apocalypse, and there are also some interesting hints toward that as well, but nothing. You know, they're very candid about it. They don't want to release their information just yet, so that's all we have at the moment.
Nothing beyond rumors.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a it's sad to be losing a hero.
Yeah, it is. That's mainly what this, what I'm driving at with this article is light your candles and show your respect for the last movie that Hugh Jackman gets to play Wolverine in.
It is the sad loss.
I'm interested to see more from the Old Man Logan, though.
Yes.
Which is going to be interesting since it's based off, comic books and all that, which, for the next 5 seconds, if you really read comic books, please cover your ears. They recently killed off Wolverine. Cover your ears. And so we'll see how all that fits in for all the comic book geeks, but that recently did happen in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Speaking of geeks and loving of comic books and things, and I've always wanted to have a superhero ability, an ability be special. I don't know. I think everybody's grown up wanting an ability or to be special, be able to fly, be able to be invisible, be able to be really fast. You guys ever experience that? Did you ever want that when you were little?
I still want it now.
Of course.
My mama told me I was special.
There was a show on NBC that ended in 2006 called Heroes. Did any of you watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not really.
Hayden Panettiere. I think that's how you say her name.
It's some combination
Hayden
of that.
Panettiere, something like that. Chick from Nashville.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Save the Cheerleader, Save the World, that show. It's coming back. It's coming back. Heroes Reborn is coming back to NBC, and I have a reason to watch NBC again. A 13 episode mini-series, Heroes Reborn, launches September 24th. And it's got a lot of the cast of the original Heroes seasons. I think it was 5 seasons in all. Had a really weird ending to it. Kind of just left everybody hanging. And the people that did watch the show religiously like I did were just sitting here going, what do I do with my life? There's new heroes going to be in the show, and then some old faces. Not the entire old cast is coming back, but you will see Hiro Nakamura again. You'll see Matt Parkman again. You'll see Mohinder Suresh, the Haitian, Angela Petrelli, but not her sons, and Micah Sanders.
This excites and worries me because I was extremely into this show when it first came out, and by season 3, I still watched, and I watched through the whole thing. But like I said, by season 3, I had really started to feel the disappointment in it. But I'm keeping a lot of optimism that this rehash in this series is gonna do it justice.
Well, Noah Bennett is also coming back. The man with the horn-rimmed glasses?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But they have not mentioned the name Sylar. So, I guess it's going to be a surprise as to whether or not he's coming back.
Might not have been able to get old Zachary.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot since Heroes. And I mean, I'm not sure how much he did before Heroes, but Heroes is one of the first real recognizable things that I can remember seeing him in.
Right. But either way, set your calendar for September 24th during prime time and come watch it with me. It'll be great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe we can all get on TeamSpeak and watch it together.
Live tweet it.
Yeah.
Also, our final piece for the night. YouTube pranks. How many of you watch them?
They can occasionally be funny.
I've been occasionally watching them too on lunch breaks and things. there was some issue this week with one of YouTube's famous pranksters. No, it wasn't Roman Atwood. He's had his issues in the past as well. It wasn't Proven TV. They've had their issues in the past as well. The man I'm talking about is Tyrone Jones. You know him? Tyrone Jones? Hi, I'm Tyrone, and I'm gonna,
Started on Vine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tyrone got shot 3 times in the chest by the husband of a woman that he was basically pranking on. Which makes me wonder, how far is too far when it comes to YouTube pranks? Last year, Roman Atwood did a drive-by shooting prank where he drove through the suburbs, rolled down windows on a car, and played very loud gunshot noises. And it scared someone who, lives in this area where gunshots or drive-bys are a very real thing. This person was scared enough that he fired back. Proven TV earlier did a Killer Clowns prank. I'm sure you've seen those videos. They've been posted everywhere. The clown in the bloody outfit with an axe or a big hammer, parking garage. They were in the middle of Central Park, and they actually chased after who I would say is the wrong person. It was a father with 2 small children. He was also a concealed carry weapon holder, and he ended up drawing his gun, and they barely got him shut down in time, screaming, "It's just a prank, it was just a prank, it was just a prank, don't shoot." But I just want to say, guys, if you gotta realize that there is an amount of danger to what's going on with that, and it's just my thoughts. I want to get it off my chest. It's a very real game, and sometimes it's a very dangerous game.
Yeah.
Pranks on YouTube.
Yeah. It's you have to be mindful of your surroundings, and you have to be mindful of how you can possibly make people react.
Yeah.
Right.
And Tyrone actually got charged in that case where he got shot by the guy in Dallas because the man asked him to leave several times.
Yes, he was charged with harassment and
trespassing. Right. So I think, absolutely if you're in that situation and you are asked to leave, at that point, it is no longer a prank.
Yeah. Don't push it, And I think, that's probably the most important thing out of all of this that we can leave y'all with tonight is, it's very good advice. Don't push your boundaries on this kind of thing.
Don't go too far.
You can end up getting hurt.
Right. Luckily, Tyrone will live. By the way, he is going to be fine, but
he's already shooting videos about it.
He's already shooting videos. Exactly. I don't think he learned too much on it, but it could have been a lot worse for him.
Yeah. Just don't go too far. And don't go too far, NBC, with Heroes Reborn. Just don't go too far.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's just,
Please don't. Please don't.
Let's just keep it the appropriate amount of the distance we're supposed to go with this stuff.
We've waited 10 years for it to come back.
Yeah, in fact,
don't go too far with it.
I'd like to change what we're leaving you with. NBC, I'm addressing you right now. Please don't mess it up. As we sign off tonight and say goodbye, I, for one, am speaking directly to you. Please don't mess up Heroes.
I'd like to reiterate the same thing to Fox about the X-Files.
Yes. But
I'd like to say to the guy that waxes my car, don't mess it up.
Well, I guess that's about the time we have. Those are the stories that we've brought for you tonight. We hope we've given you a couple of laughs and a couple of knowledge nuggets. Shed some entertainment. So I think this is a point where we can all kind of say our goodbyes and sign off.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.